The idea that violence must always, at all times, always be avoided is not Catholic. Remember the Crusades? Violence in and of itself is not immoral. It depends on the circumstances, and sometimes even it's necessary. Now we are in a pitched battle in the political arena, the last remaining line before all-out civil war.
Ding, ding, ding. Yes, another right-winger talking about civil war. I'll get to how he's putting together a team of child soldiers to kill their peers in a second, but what is it with these people in civil war?
I see a civil war coming.
Civil war, they want civil war.
We might be on a precipice of civil war.
How about civil war? Let's go for it.
Go time. Everybody knows exactly what I'm talking about.
We the people accept your civil war.
We're going to be in a civil war because the militia will be taking over.
It's 3.5% active participation from citizens to actually topple a dictator, to be successful in civil war. And we already have that happening. We're beyond that number, to be honest.
It's like she's horny for murder. Anyway, back to this guy with the perfect hair. And if you talk any trash about his hair, you're gonna have to go through me. This guy either uses too much hair product or has never heard of hair product. Anyways, his name is Michael Voris, and he runs a church called Church Militant. And the only difference between Church Militant and the Faith Militant in Game of Thrones is dragons. That is the only difference. He is putting together an army of child soldiers to take down their fellow Zoomers in the name of Christ. He's got some fascinating recruiting techniques. First, he's telling Catholic Zoomers they are surrounded by baby killers.
In Ann Arbor, Michigan, home to the University of Michigan, the lockstep crazy anti-God student body voted a whopping 94% to 6% in favor of the child-killing Democrats and helped pass the most murderous abortion law in the land.
Yeah. That's imagery. And no sooner does this guy called Gen Z murderers than he refers to the conflict between his followers and people their age as a war.
Ready or not, the war has now arrived at their doorstep, as every poll, survey, and report from this disastrous midterm shows it was a huge number of their peers who helped build that blue wall to prevent the red wave.
Now, if I were the person completely outnumbered by people who disagree with me, I'd say maybe I should engage in some reasoned debate. No. This guy says, you're not crazy. In fact, you are just like the colonists who were outnumbered when they fought back against the British.
We should also bear in mind that it was a very small minority of men who would prove to be the patriots who rose up against their oppressors.
And his next recruiting technique is to say, listen, you're never too young to give your life for my stupid holy war.
When we think of the founding fathers of the U.S., we tend to think of middle-aged or even older men. But the reality is actually not that close. Some of the most famous of the founding fathers actually qualify as more like founding teenagers or founding 20-somethings.
Also, I just want you to know, I didn't Photoshop these graphics. These are his graphics of the founding teenagers. Do they have phones? Is that phones in their hands? It's not beer because they're underage. Actually, it might be because they're Catholic and they drink Jesus's wine blood when they're like 13. So who knows? And he doesn't stop there. At the same time that he is lamenting the brainwashing of all the kids at the University of Michigan, he actually admits that he is brainwashing children himself. Kids as young as 9.
Joe has been here, practically grown up here, since he was a little brat at the age of 9.
What's your name and where are you from?
Joseph.
Hi, Joseph.
Hi, and I'm from Waterford.
That's the bad guy in The Handmaid's Tale.
What's your question, Joseph?
What can we do as Catholics to defend our faith?
Yeah, I'm sure he came up with that question on his own. What's Joseph up to now?
Now he's the head of Church Militant Resistance at the tender age of 25.
Cool. There's swords in the logo of the thing he runs. Swords in it. So let's see what that does to a person.
At the end of the day, the truth is the truth. Homosexuality, for example, intrinsically disordered. It just is. When you commit the sin of sodomy, it is one of these sins that cries out to heaven for vengeance.
Cheery. Very cheery. Okay, so the other side's evil. You've been brainwashing kids since they were 9, but we're the groomers. Nice. I love this duo. One's the D-backs and the other's a D-bag. I also love, this guy looks exactly like my friend Paul from high school. Like, it's uncanny and unsettling. Anyway, you might be asking, Brett, why are you focusing, I'm Brett, by the way, why are you focusing on this one weird dude whose hair has been perfect throughout the ages? I will say, first off, this guy has 250,000 subscribers on multiple platforms. So it's not that small, even though this guy's is small, right?
We're talking about, as they say, and forgive the term, but no nut November. Maybe it should just kind of like always be no nut, you know?
But there are a lot of people out there just like this dude who are pushing for an actual theocracy in America.
We've never, as a country, sat down and had the debate over which of these religions is the right religion.
If that's Christian nationalism, count me in.
I'm a Christian and I say it proudly. We should be Christian nationalists.
The church is supposed to direct the government. The government is not supposed to direct the church.
You can call us extremists. You can call us domestic terrorists. You know who else was called a lot of names his whole life? Jesus.
Boo! And they have leaders that are all but saying, start the shooting.
Paul Gosar came out, and we asked him flat out at that time, do you think we're heading into a civil war? And his response to the group was just flat out, we're in it. We just haven't started shooting at each other yet.
We need people all over the country to be willing to put on that full armor of God, to stand firm against the left's schemes. You'll be met with flaming arrows, but the shield of faith will stop them.
The only way you get freedom back after you've lost it is with the price of blood.
We'll never get rid of all of those guns. The Constitution prohibits that, and you would set off a civil war if you tried to do it.
Certain inalienable rights, among which are enjoying and defending life and liberty, and pursuing happiness and securing safety.
Jesus Christ. Shout out to J.R. Jackson for a lot of the montages in here. Watch the watch list every day, every weekday at 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern at youtube.com/watchlisttyt. Also, get a tattoo of my face and send a photo of it to me, and I will give you a photo of me giving you a thumbs up. God help us all.